Talk junk and praise the Lord. Maybe we'll start it with that. That'd be fun. Talk junk and praise the Lord.
Are we live?
Oh yeah, we are live. And
Here we go.
I hope you caught it because all the preliminary stuff. Let me do like the guy did. Who was that? Gavin Newsom or somebody that reached on the table and grabbed something really fast and hit it?
Oh, that was a Macron, the French president.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a tissue. It wasn't a big deal.
Anyway, welcome to the Roundtable Talk Podcast. Hal Nunn.
Reuben Castellon.
And Chris Holland.
Inside the palatial studios of Christian1057.com, WCLN. More about them in a moment. And we especially want to thank our inaugural sponsor and key sponsor that has been with us since day numero uno, and that is Rayford Guns. We're glad to have them continuing on as our inaugural sponsor, and we hope you'll check them out at 5609 Fayetteville Road. Yep, inside the gas station at Skull Road and Johnson Mill in Hoke County, Monday through Friday, 10 to 7. Normally it shows on the weekend. See their Facebook page, Rayford Guns. Actually, that's the script change. They have their X account up, which I understand is correct now, Rayford Guns on X. However, one of their Facebook pages was popped up today and is active.
Back up.
Rayford Guns.
Yeah, Rayford Guns. So Facebook, X, I don't know what else he's going to do, but if you check them out at 5609 Fayetteville Road, you'll find them. 910-709-3950, 910-709-3950. That's Rayford Guns. And also, we'd like to thank the Hoke County edition of the North State Journal. They are the only statewide newspaper in North Carolina covering local, state, national, and world news, as well as college and pro sports. You can subscribe today by calling 919-663-3232 or click on the link at hoke.northstatejournal.com. Christian 105.7 FM, online and streaming WCLN. Your source for hope and inspiration, streaming, app, web, Christian1057.com. What faith sounds like.
Amen.
And we need all we can get right now. Also, make sure you check out our Facebook page at Roundtable Talk Podcast or listen anywhere you find your podcast. Just search for Roundtable Talk Podcast and Hoke County, Rayford, North Carolina, North Kakalaki, and what was it, Oxnard, California?
All day long.
Is that right, though? Did I get it right?
You did.
And what part of Florida?
Arcadia.
Arcadia. Not arcade, but Arcadia.
Arcadia. Actually, Nakati, which is a small light rockfish outside of Arcadia.
I meant to send you a video, I think about a week or two back. There was some lady on one of the news channels, and she was bloviating about all the stuff that's going on in California. And
Which part? About Gavin Newsom backing out on all the illegal immigration or illegal immigrant health care, about the DEI in schools?
I think it was the DEI in schools. Don't quote me on it. I'll have to look back. But I do need to send it to you. And she says, well, in our town of Oxnard, California.
Bam.
I was like, wait a minute. I know somebody from there. And
Gavin Newsom's running like a moderate.
Boys, he ran to the middle.
Very much so.
It's too late for him.
It's
I think
ran
so,
to the
too.
middle, yeah.
It's too late. The sad thing today about politicians is that if they capture you on video, it doesn't go away. It's somewhere.
Yeah. What about?
Yeah, but for the Democrat Party, I think he's about the strongest thing going. Unless they're really lost and they get like AOC or something like that.
Unless Stephen A. Smith from ESPN chimes in. But apparently he's, I know you don't follow the sports that much, but
I listen to him.
yeah, I like him. I've
commentary.
always kind of liked him. He's kind of to the point, but he gets a little off haywire on some issues. But on this one, he is absolutely right. He said, I'm not running. Somebody asked him if he was running, would he run as a Democrat? And he said, absolutely, but not the current form Democrats. He said, I mean, you'd have to clean house, which ain't going to happen. And then they would run. How about the David Hogg guy? How about him? The what did he do? I forgot.
He's
What
Florida, part of the
Parkland shooting.
Oh, the Parkland
he was
shooting
a survivor
stuff.
from that, and he's a real big gun control advocate.
He doesn't bring any substance.
He
to,
doesn't.
He's
an airhead.
They got the Democratic Party got him. This is obviously this is just my opinion.
We didn't even start local.
This
we
is
just
just
rolled.
this is just my opinion. I think what happened was that they wanted a young white male face.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Crockett.
Okay. Of course, after I was thinking about that, why would they want to choose this young man? And then I just started thinking about it. And then later on, weeks after he had already been nominated and voted on to be one of the vice chair. Then they started coming out and said, "How about that?" And then now I read somewhere on a news outlet that I watched where they were getting ready to give him the boot.
He's about to get booted.
Yeah.
Well, because he started the infighting. He said that he's going to spend $20 million of DNC money to primary out, undemocrat Democrats. So
Hey, we got our own.
we do.
We got our own. But anyway, we went right straight to national politics, man. I want to talk about this weather, and I want to talk about the chicken livers I had today. Do you eat chicken livers?
I used to.
All day long.
No, yep, for fishing, yeah. I mean,
I eat them.
No, I eat them too.
fried
Where
chicken.
was it at?
Livers,
There was a
gizzards.
restaurant here in Whole County, to my recollection, Armando's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Armando.
the grill
Armando's.
out
When
there.
I was in the Whole County Sheriff's Office, sometimes we would, when we're in the area, we stop by there for lunch, and I used to eat chicken livers. Of
Is
course,
that place even open?
I grew up eating liver this, liver that.
Liver
so
everything.
I was not a stranger, and then if you fry them properly, they be tasting pretty good.
Clean them out.
Yeah.
And fry them up.
Tip of the week. If you're going towards, first of all, had to attend a visitation. I didn't make it to the funeral for Cale Crumpler, Crumpler Funeral Home, Dane and Frank Crumpler's son, and one of the sons. He passed away, and he had been sick for a really long time. So my true condolences to the Crumpler family and to the community. And let me tell you, they go to the church towards Laurinburg on the left-hand side. I forgot the name of it, North View something. Anyway, it's on the left. It's one of those prefab buildings that's been put up, but it's beautiful inside, man. It's really nice. And I got there at 10 minutes to 1. The visitation was at 1, and a massive amount of cars and people. That family is very well known, and Cale has been, such a cool dude, and he got sick a couple years back. I think it was cancer. I don't remember what type. And so I was able to go towards Laurinburg. I don't think I got right to the sign that says Laurinburg and turned around and came back. But if you are going to Laurinburg, and if you know Nick's Quick Pick, the one on the left there in Wagram, that's all I need to tell you. That's the hot spot, baby. That's the money. That's the money. That's where you go and wait for them to cook them if you want to get them, because they usually go pretty quick. But they keep them rolling throughout the day. And there's some friends that I know that work downtown Rayford, and I dropped by and gave them half, and I took the other half home for dinner this evening, maybe.
So,
but no, we've got a meeting. So livers and what else?
Well, I'm going to address something you just said. I'm going to go ahead and just take a moment and say from the Roundtable Talk Podcast, my deepest condolences to the Crumpler family. I known all the males since I've been deputy in 2004. I can remember Cale coming over to pick up many bodies that I was investigating for whatever reason, and so I knew him for a long time, and I just thought that it was not appropriate for me to make a post.
It feels weird.
It's just not the same. But I happen to know. Remember
know
Frank.
And Frank
and
Ray.
remember Frank, and I know a little bit more
Kim.
about what's going on, and but it struck me to where he was 65.
It was not.
He's 3-4 years older than I am, And the last time I saw him, he disappeared. It was when I was campaigning, and
That's about.
he
when-
told me, "Hey, I voted for you," and which, I mean, and I think all of them did. And but they're good people. Highway Patrol, his brother, Ray, the sister. They're good people.
Absolutely.
And when I found out about it, I was like, wow.
So probably did not know ahead of time that he had been sick.
Well, I knew something was wrong because
okay.
he disappeared. But that's one of those situations where you don't want to go and ask. And
no doubt.
ladies, women, females, please don't take this the wrong way. I made the mistake, and I never make it again after that. I thought a woman that I saw was pregnant, and she wasn't. I never heard the end of it. After that, I don't make assumptions. If I find out about it, I find out about it. If I'm not going to go out there and inquire with the possibility of me being wrong. I just don't. So I knew that sooner or later if something was wrong, and sure enough, when I found out about it, I was exposed to a few things, and I was like, oh man, I was. I was a little choked up because I know these people.
You probably saw him a lot.
And I mean, it was a regular basis.
Because he was the coroner. He was the one answering all the calls.
And sometimes he didn't have the staff, because, we know this. People die all the time for whatever reason. And it was more often than not that he would show up. And then we got to know each other. I went to his house once or twice, So like I known, these folks for a while, and it kind of hit me a little hard because it was like, man, it's the dad, and then shortly after, it's my understanding that he found out that something was wrong.
Yeah, I
with
think
him.
it was in the same general time frame. I'm not 100%, but you got to think about this. And my heart always, she's in my Sunday school classes. Frank's wife, Dane, the matriarch. Frank passed away. Then Mr. Capps, the golf man, the putt man, he passed away. That's her brother, and now her son. All within a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, and it hits home because I just lost. I haven't seen him in a long time. I left California when I was a kid, and I lost track of a lot of people. And I get to know the people die because I stay in touch with my siblings and say, "Oh, so and so died." And by the way, a week later, his son died. And like,
boom! You're like, what happened?
Good Lord! It's like,
yeah, my cousin in Colombia. So condolences to the Crumpler family, and we lift them up in our thoughts and prayers. Man.
But lastly about this, I just want to say, I know it's hard. I mean, I've had those feelings in the past. I know how it feels to lose someone, but we have to continue to live on because someone has to remember these people. You got to think about that. We have to. I know it's hard. It's hard.
Talk about them, bring them up.
Yeah, you got you got to bring all the their names in conversations. And I still I still talk about my mom. My mom when we were campaigning.
She was here.
No, I had to stop campaigning.
Oh, when she
and I
passed.
left for a week, and I got to see her before my mom died, and I came back a few days later. My son, my brother, my sibling, my second youngest brother, called me at 5:30 Eastern time. He never calls me at that time. I knew. And so it's hard, man. It's pretty hard. So our condolences, and please continue to live on and pray for a better day.
And remember and talk about all the good times, because I'm gonna be honest. People get mad at me when I say that. Some folks kind of, I gotta say, waller in it for like 10 years. I mean, 5, 10, and it's always, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I understand the amount of love and compassion that they probably had for a person that they lost. I, for one, am not a big graveyard guy. I'm not. Just, my parents are buried in Raleigh. And
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't go to funerals.
yeah, I'm not.
I tell people, I say the only funeral I'm gonna go to is mine. That's the only one I'm gonna go.
But the visitation, yeah.
I'd never after I buried my best friend, which I consider to be my brother. We served together for. He retired earlier than I did because he was a little bit ahead of mine. He was the first deputy in Harnett County to die, John F. Strickland.
Oh.
And I was in the academy actually when he died. And that was the only funeral I've ever been to since 2003. I don't do well in these type of events, and so I don't go.
You avoid them.
I don't go.
And then Chris don't want to talk about it. So we're going to move on. All right. Let's see. Weather. We didn't talk about the weather, but it's May.
It's been raining.
It's been raining. Thank the Lord for the rain.
Yeah, a lot of good rain.
Although some folks say that they got too much rain. And if you're in a flat area or a soft area, you probably did. But for those of us who
farmer with new crops.
Or a farmer with new crops, they're in heaven. And it was the right time. It was delayed a lot. I forgot someone had mentioned April showers. We didn't see any.
This one time, yeah.
We didn't see any once.
Well, you got to remember, in comparison to the previous that I can think of 5-7 years, it's always been in around March, April.
We
A
didn't.
lot of rain, and this time, what's going on?
What's
I think
going on?
It rained once or twice in March, once or twice in April.
But nothing big.
No, that's something that.
Like we had the other day.
No, this was like, okay, we're overdue.
Yeah.
We're overdue.
So what goes around comes around. He always provides. And one little funny thing I wanted to tell y'all, I don't know if y'all seen it. Those little baby podcasts that you see online, do you see them where they've taken people who do podcasts like us, and then they put a baby face on them, but they doctor them up and make them look like them. Mm-hmm. And so they're sitting there as a baby face. And the one I'm really, I don't know why. It's just the way he talks. It's Theo Vaughn, the comedian, used to be a wrestler and used to be an actor or whatever, this, that, and the other. And they're so freaking funny. They're so funny. And I'll show y'all one after a while. But baby podcast. I wanted to mention the weather, chicken livers, and baby podcast. That would get us going. All right, let's jump right in. We're already at 4:20, so welcome to the Roundtable Talk Podcast. There's a little bit of open chatter.
132.
132, half of 132, or double 132, 364.
264.
264. See there? I'm already on it. 132. All right, we got to get into local, and the only thing, there's a whole bunch of local. There's city, there's county, there's schools, there is water, there's taxes and things
Lead
like
off
that.
of one. Whatever you're most passionate about.
Let's start with the little. Let's start with the little one, the bigger one, the county
There's no
tax.
little ones.
The county. Yeah, there's no little one. The county. Since I don't think we've been back since they stopped the house building, or have we?
We have.
Oh, we have.
There was a special
There's a call
meeting to approve a grant of some sort.
Yeah, he's talking about the moratorium on building.
Well, it's not. It's not an actual moratorium, though, is it?
If you stop doing something, I mean, no, it's not a moratorium officially, but when you pause something.
Pause. They put a pause on building homes, but yet they approved. I think it was 40-some or 50-some apartments or duplexes or something over off of Skull Road.
Yeah, I think if they tried to actually do a moratorium, then they would probably get sued by the developers because it's an official stop. Whereas
After they've already approved it.
Yeah, well, they've approved all the way up to, what was it, May 1st? Anything pre-approved?
April
to that?
28.
Whatever the date was, everything previous to that, like the 900
Oh yeah,
homes
we
that are already
recorded that.
approved
We recorded that week.
are already going to be. They're still going in, but I have noticed there's a lot of places around here, Johnson Mill area, that their land broke, roads put in, but there's no houses going
Yet.
up. They've been there a couple months.
Yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's going to happen.
I think a combination of the water, a combination of the interest rates, and just the economy. Everybody's scared of the economy right now. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to go out on the limb. I mean, look at Hope County. You're talking about $300,000 average house. You know,
Yeah,
who can make that money?
Who makes that money?
Who makes that
The
money?
average person doesn't.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you this right now because we're blessed.
I'm very glad. The
and
military.
I don't mean,
Thank you, Lord.
and I don't mean this to disrespect anybody in any kind of way. We just been blessed, okay? I don't consider myself and many other people I know in my own situation that we're not average. For whatever reason, some people said that we were at the right place at the wrong time. Whatever the case may be, we successfully retired from the armed forces. Some have disability compensations. We go on to have another career, retire from that, and we make financial good decisions. And so, therefore, we can't afford a house and those $300,000. But I'm going to tell you this right now, by my own personal experience, when I worked in the sheriff's office, I was one of the very few that had a financial unique situation. But most deputies, when you're making $33,000, $28,000, $33,000
Because it wasn't much when you were there. I'm telling you right now.
my salary,
28?
my beginning salary was $18,000. That was my salary. My star salary was $18,000 in 2004, and I didn't know better because I was getting my retirement pension.
So it felt good. You
It
think
felt-
they made that
it felt
decision
good.
based on your military retirement?
I don't know
Because I know some companies do.
I do not know, but now while they pay better, you cannot. It's a man. I'm not talking. It's a woman. It's a provider having a single job, i.e., starting as a young man and you're 21 as a law enforcement officer, even getting a $40,000 job, you, unless you live in a single wide trailer, you are not
going to get a 300.
You are not going to get a $300,000 home, let alone your wife not have a job and stay at home. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, and it's so unfortunate you got critical jobs that, for all intents and purposes, to me, they're minimum paying jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Around here.
Yeah, and so we're very we're very blessed, but everybody can do what we did.
Well,
Some choose not to. Some choose
Not
not to.
everybody can, and some people can't. Have to go into just. I don't know. Do they still allow special circumstances to allow you to join the military if you don't qualify up front, and then they give you like a.
Oh, they were doing like if you're
Yeah.
overweight or something like
Yeah,
that.
they
They would
gave
give
you-
you a boot camp, pre-boot camp, boot camp.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
like
if you
6
were
weeks.
if you were overweight and you met the tape, because I was
They
that's
look the
not
other
that's
way?
not something that's not something new because I was a drill sergeant, so there were some guys that come in fluffy, but they came in on a special program to where before they came to actual basic training,
Right.
they had, I guess, for lack of words, a mini basic training, and their goal was
Just
to
lose
try to
weight.
lose some weight and also be able to do what the requirements and basic
Of
training.
basic training
So that's
were.
that's been going on since I can remember.
I don't know if they're still doing it.
I
That's
don't
what
know,
I'm thinking.
because-
I don't think they're still
because
doing
when
it.
You've heard ever since Trump took office that the recruiting boom is just outrageous.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a different climate.
It's
Everything's
that.
better.
It's that, and it's also the economy.
And
Back
the
to
economy.
the economy, right?
But I think making one small point about the economy, it's only going to get better.
Oh yeah.
It's only going.
Yeah, we're going to
get-
go there.
It's
That's
only
that's
going
on.
to
I just wanted to start local. Obviously, there was another water break last weekend
in the same area.
There was one
They
last
said
night.
rockfish. Oh, yesterday.
Last night.
Same area.
I don't know where it was at.
Well, it's not affecting me yet, so
It's not that big line.
it's not that big line.
It's not that big
I
line.
just saw a post. People were talking about it was like the post said 17, 18 hours ago, and this was this
Yeah.
morning. So
Yeah.
sometime yesterday evening.
Okay. Well, be prepared, and obviously now that everybody knows that we've got these water issues and they've paused the building, I don't think that's going to help the pressure the water pressure. It's going to let people get approved and not. On the townhomes, I don't know if I mentioned on Skull Road, they approved them, but they did not approve them to hook up water
To build.
to build.
So they approved the rezoning, They approved the plat, but they haven't given them authorization to start building yet.
And this guy's been on the docket for like 4 years or something.
It's been a while. I
Anyway.
remember. Yeah, that was one of the original
Complaints.
You didn't post the
Oh,
property.
yeah. You didn't
the
post
zoning
it.
notice.
Yeah, that's
That was
right.
several
That's when we
years
first
ago.
started.
That's been several years
It's been
ago.
having issues from the beginning.
Anyway, all right. So water townhomes, stop the building or pause on the building. And the last thing I want to mention with the county stuff is the tax listing. You know, the whole argument, and maybe we'll mention it, maybe we won't, about the county not doing business with the News Journal. And they put an ad in the Fayetteville Observer to tell people.
How's that going to help a Hood County resident?
Listen, they put an ad in the Fayetteville Observer to
That they were going to publish.
They're going to
the tax
publish
notice.
the tax listing. We're going to come. It's coming. The Hood County tax listing is coming, and then they never published it.
So yeah,
It's never been published.
I mean, isn't that a fiduciary duty of the government?
Yes.
To post those notices
in a
So-
newspaper of record or
and-
general circulation,
Right.
and then there's a debate
So-
on the law on that.
So I've read the law several times, right?
I can hardly
the
read it.
statute. Yeah, it is kind of confusing. But the catch-all, and I think this is what they're operating under, paragraph 1-599 says
Darn.
paragraph 15 or 187 and 88 do not apply to counties that only have one published newspaper. So all the requirements to publish in the paper of record, yada yada yada, 599 says except for counties that only have one newspaper. This regulation doesn't apply. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Don't even try to play one. I just read, and the common man interpretation is
Right.
87, 88, they're messing up. They're supposed to be doing this. 599 says, so it's 97, 98.
Yeah, I don't know the
Five-
number. You
five
threw the
ninety-
numbers out.
yeah,
I'm like, I
599
can't remember
says-
what I had for breakfast.
Except for, bam. And I'm like, I don't know. So maybe, not that it's morally or ethically correct, but I think maybe it might be legally correct. My opinion of reading the statute.
Well, it was.
Well, I mean, and that's the whole thing about. See, this is the thing that people don't understand. Okay, we use morally, ethically very loosely. Okay, if you can do something based on the law, you cannot attach ethically and morally. You can't. Period. If the county, I go back again because I've had some discussions with other people. Well, the county commissioners gave themselves a pay raise. It's the law. They can do it. Move on. You want to change that law? Then become a lobbyist so you can change the law. Oh, it's unethical. No, it's not. It's the law. So I have never put myself in a situation to where if it's the law and I follow the law, then it cannot be unethical or immoral. It just can't. I'm not talking about life. I'm not talking about that. I'm
You're
talking about
the rule of law.
the rule of law. You know, so we use these two words too loosely. You know, there is a way to. I know the county commissioners did not approve the general statute that says you can give your own races. It was the legislation.
Correct, but there is black and white law, but there is also a duty to your citizens in the county and to support a local business, the News Journal.
There it is.
You know,
The support of local business
that
is not a
the
law.
moral portion.
Yeah,
That is the moral
And that's where
portion.
I'm saying
That is the
you have an
moral portion.
obligation as local government to support your own economy, your own small businesses before you.
And it's
And
sadly,
because you're mad because they sued you because you were doing unethical stuff, not complying with FOIA requests, and so they're pitching a fit.
which people brushed over that so easy
And-
that the commissioners were not
forthcoming with required.
forthcoming with a required public law that says they are required to give public records to anyone
Anybody
that
that
asks for
requests
it.
it.
Chris Holland, if he asked for a copy of the, I'm going to change the subject. He knows where
All
I'm
right.
going. That was the next topic. And Ruben, you can stay in or stay out, either way you want to do it. The public law on the budget, the county, and then we're going to go into the school board, and I'll let it, if he wants to talk, he can talk. The county has a clear requirement, from what I understand, to publish 30 days prior to voting on it. Let the public view the budget. That's requirement by law.
Okay.
They got to publish
North
it.
Carolina law?
Have you seen the law?
I have not seen it.
Okay.
But they take it to
Okay.
the library.
Okay.
Printed, and which makes no sense. To me, in the 2025, you would put it online in a form, and you could just put it up there.
Not if you want to make it inconvenient. If it's the law.
Is that moral?
Right?
Is that moral?
There you go, right?
I mean, is it moral? Look at that grin on his face. Anyway, so
If you want to comply with the law, you have to have it publicly posted, right?
All right.
We're going to put it at the news.
now we
at the-
transition to number
at the
two.
library.
Now we transition to number two. I got out of the county. All right. Number two, school board. I watched the whole school board meeting, and first, God, please, 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 Lord, thank you. I praise everyone who had something to do with, and I understand you told me you had a little bit to do with it, or a lot to do with it, the newer microphones and the equipment. You can really hear the school board. You can.
Let me correct
Is that new
something.
since-
Let me correct something. I had everything to do with the microphone. Okay, remember what I say? I always
campaigned on that.
give credit where credit is due. Okay, and that was one of my things. And first, let me say something. Okay, just you can pause for a second. I'm Ruben Castro, and I'm a Hope County Board of Education board member. I only speak for myself. I don't speak for no board member or the board. Having said that,
Ding, ding.
having said that, I had everything to do with that. Okay, as a board member, I pushed that issue, and under the leadership of the previous superintendent, Deborah Dallas, she made it happen. Okay, because that was one of the issues. I'm a disabled veteran, and I have some.
What'd you say?
I have some. I have some hearing problems. While I'm not ready to wear hearing aids,
It's close for me.
I am at the level to where if you get a little further from me, I can't hear anything. And so every time I went to the school board meetings when I was before even I started campaigning,
And you physically went.
and
Y'all
I went,
were-
I went, and I could most of the time I couldn't hear anything,
Even in the room.
And then one of the things that upset me was that I forget who I talked to that I emailed the someone. I don't know if it was a board member. One
It
of the
was the
current board
PR
members,
girl, wasn't it?
or somebody. Maybe it would have been the previous PR. I don't know. I say, hey, y'all need to put a microphone system because you can't hear nothing. I was ignored. As a matter of fact, I have it in my records. Whoever I emailed didn't even bother to reply.
Yeah, that gets on my nerves.
And so a lot of stuff has been fixed. Of course, we don't talk about it, because I'm a doer. I do things.
All right.
I don't brag about it.
All right. So anyway, my point is, if you go listen to that video, and maybe that's what you were talking about on What's Happening, Hope. This morning I posted the video, and I put my 2 cents in there. And there's a quote in there from the publisher of the News Journal, Jesse Brown, on the budget. So let's tease it a little bit. Yeah, go there and check it out for yourself. Go to What's Happening, Hope, or the discussion group. And do
Or
it-
better yet, go over to the video of the school board meeting.
or go
How
to
about
go
that?
to YouTube,
How
which I
about
put
that?
the link. I put the link in the post. My point.
I always have something better to do when there's
Me too.
controversy, I guess.
Yeah, but
I was there, so I know what happened.
well, it's not all. I mean, it really
Well,
truly.
you're trumping it up.
I'm
like
trying to-
there's a whole bunch of
Well, there was
turmoil.
That board meeting agenda. If you just look at it, I believe you could count 25 items. Is that fair?
Well,
it's not accurate.
But that's not
It
that's
was a
not
lot.
something that is not normal. Number one. Number
Right.
two, you have to be able to differentiate. You got informational items. You got action items.
I'm
okay?
going there.
Okay, so
And how
let's
many
not.
of their consent agenda, though? You know what I mean?
Well, there was a consent agenda. There were action items.
You
and there
have
were
consent
info.
agenda. You have informational items. You have action items. And so I'm gonna tell you the agenda that was there last Tuesday. I didn't see nothing unusual out of it.
No, okay. So anyway, I done lost my train of thought. See there, it's the old age.
I
That's
just
how they get
derailed
me.
you.
That's how they get me. Anyway, so first of all, the audio. where is the actual microphone? I know y'all have a microphone in front of you, but the system that's recording the audio and the video, where is that? Is it a
TV,
laptop or
No.
smartboard?
It's so when you know where I'm sitting at, right?
Yes.
It's behind me. It's hidden. Somebody's managing the audio system.
Is there someone getting up and getting down all the time from back there, moving and junking around? Because you hear furniture and clunking and you hear chairs squeak across the floor.
No, but that's got to be probably the mics and the table.
But y'all have a button to hit, right?
Yeah,
Somebody's got theirs on the
probably.
whole time.
I know I don't.
No, well, I see y'all go like this, and you
Yeah.
hit a button. I would encourage all mics to be muted, and then when you're talking, you talk. Look at the producer man's got a grin on his face. But there are times when they say stuff. First of all, people start to get kind of quiet when they first start talking, and you can't hear them. So they
No,
get
well, this is what happens because I do it sometimes. Okay, so you got the mic along with the neck itself. It's about this long, and then you got the mic about like this, small, and I pull it to my side, and I normally before I even start, I press on it, I test it. I think I'm the only one that does that. I test it to make sure it's working because there's sometimes that it hasn't worked. So they get on it before we start. And this is what happens with, I believe, with all of them because I've done it myself, where I forget that I'm supposed to press.
And you start talking.
And so I start talking, and then I realize that, okay, I can't hear. So then, I forgot. And then I don't think that's intentional. It's muscle memorization, but I can tell you this for now. We are getting better at it. I mean, you got to realize before I got on the board, we didn't have that. And so, it's hard to train someone from something that's been done for so long to something else. So it's a process, but I can tell you right now, it's getting better. But I'm going to tell you this right now, because I'm there, I don't hear what you're talking about.
Right.
And so I might have to listen to the video to see if I can identify the location.
Yeah, just go listen to Tuesday for a little bit.
Because I don't think
the big screen in the back doesn't have a recorder, doesn't have a microphone.
That might be it.
That might be it.
That might be it.
There's something behind
the audience.
Yeah, because it might be.
When you're facing
it might be
there, right there on the front row in the middle.
It might be.
Screen.
It might be. But you know what? I'm going to inquire to. So it's an easy fix. It's nothing
it should be very simple. I'm just saying when they are speaking, there are times where you hear chairs rolling, screeching across.
It's
the floor.
got to be where the audience is at.
You actually hear comments. So those of you who go, if it is crowd, you can hear some of the things you're saying. And
so it's got to be
better watch it.
And I did hear that. So okay, y'all had a policy review meeting at 5:00, right? You did all that. And then you had a 6:00 board meeting. And the only key things I wanted to mention, like Ruben said, it had a lot of stuff going on. It was a busy meeting. First of all, school board meetings have a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on. Policy review, but they did have the audit from last year, Chris. This will be something that you need to probably look at. The audit, and God, I know I left the notes. I'm sure I did. The audit, they don't want to stand up there and tell stuff that's wrong. They really don't.
Right.
And
but it has to be done.
But it has to be.
Because it was done.
Because it was done. But not every single thing was talked about. So I have requested a copy of the audit and I have requested a copy of the budget. The point I want to make on the school board was, and you need to check the school fees, the child nutrition program. I really, really like the graphics at the high school. Those look really cool.
They put a lot of work, man.
It looks really good. And the personnel report is always important. And I want to give a kudos to Dr. Fortenberry. She made a presentation where previous year the number was 188 or something like that, and this year it was down in the under the hundreds, of vacancies and filling. So I want to give them a credit. This is a tough climate right now for the school systems, and then the Reading Horizons program. But the two main things were the audit and the budget.
So what happened?
So that's what I'm trying to get to, and I want to make sure I'm sort of going the right way before I mess anything up, because apparently, people do listen. I'm just kidding. All right, see, I got soft. Anyway, they had the approval of the agenda. They got to the action items part, which action items was listed: Reading Horizon, Driver's Education, CTE Computer Lab, Canvas LMS, local budget request, budget 2026, restricted funds, school nutrition, capital outlay, federal funds amendment, and board chair Catherine Blue, whether it was a mistake or just on her thinking she was in the what's the one you vote on everything?
Consent
agenda. She said, now, okay, we're moving on to the action items, and I'm looking for someone to make a motion that we approve all action items.
Right. That's just a mistake. I mean, people make mistakes.
If I make a mistake.
But did they do it?
No, the lawyer had to correct her.
Okay, well, then somebody caught it. And
Wait a minute. This is the same thing with the county and the public notices for zoning. You have been scorned over not posting public notices over the last 2 to 3 years, and yet in April you did one and didn't post it.
Right.
You have been on the board now for 2 years, or almost 2 years. 2 years?
Over 2 years.
Over 2 years. You must know that action items, you cannot vote on them all, especially when budget is listed.
I will defend anybody that gets up in front of the public and
Absolutely.
tries to follow parliamentary procedure. I tell you what, I've been chairman for 3 years. I run 3 conventions. I run a meeting every month. I do an executive committee meeting every month. I have a note, and when you see an agenda, there might be 10 items on there. If you see my copy of the agenda, every item has a note. Do this next.
Right.
Next.
Why do you do that, Chris?
Because everybody makes mistakes.
Let me tell you something. Are you done?
No. Heck no.
Go ahead.
All right. Anyway, they tried, from my view, they wanted to approve all the action items in one fell swoop, and the lawyer kind of put that around. Then that's the point you go, oh, my mistake. It's not the consent agenda, it's action.
Right.
But that didn't happen.
Okay.
But the budget, I understand and have been told and have been coached and have been warned, just like the county, the school board has to make it public before we vote on it.
Okay.
And they voted on it.
I didn't know there was a 30-day rule. That's the first I've heard of that.
For the
Okay,
county.
well,
I know the workshops have to be public, right? When they start discussing the items and they're building the budget, that stuff is public. But as far as publishing it 30 days prior to voting, I don't know. I hadn't heard that.
Are you done?
No.
Go ahead, finish.
Well, finish up on the budget. Let's take
I
this
just
pretty
do budget, then
easy.
audit, then I'm done.
Okay.
Well, finish the budget. Are you done with the budget?
My point is,
It should have been a public notice.
Okay, so the thing that caused me to my radar to go up is they talk about it and they say we can vote for it, we can't vote for it, we got to vote for it to send it to the commissioners. If you send it to the commissioners and you voted for it, they decline it, you got to turn around. So why publish it? And I'm like, you publish it because
and that would be incorrect. If you said, oh, well, we don't want to waste the time of publishing it just to come back for amendments. No, that's
exactly what she said.
Okay, well, that's
and
not
you weren't, and you didn't hear it or see it.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, but that's not a legitimate excuse. If there's a requirement to publish it publicly prior to
and with all the goodness and graces of my heart, I messaged Jessica because she voted against the agenda.
Okay.
4-1. And so I asked her, why did you vote against it?
Talking about the consent agenda.
No. The budget.
No, the budget.
The budget. And she said, because there is, God knows I'll probably misquote it. She said, I'm not voting. I'm paraphrasing. She voted against it because she noticed that there was a stipend increase for board members. And the public needed to be aware.
Are you done?
Okay.
Not with the audit, but go for the budget.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So let me. Again, I don't speak for none of the board members. And one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to throw rocks at none of my colleagues. Okay. I look at the board today because I'm in the board. Because Chris, I was very aggressive against the board members when I was running. I was throwing rocks at them. I am a board member, okay? And I look at the board like this. I look at the board as we are all siblings. And my parents taught me that if I have a problem with one of my siblings, I deal with my sibling. Okay? Because if I ever talk crap about one of my siblings, you can bet that I have already addressed that issue with my sibling. So you can read between the lines. Okay? Having said that, this is what I gotta say. You show me where the law says what you just said. That's
right,
number one.
Right.
Number two, we didn't break no law. Okay, so that'll give you a hint of what I just said. Okay, is it possible that we might have broke procedure? It's possible. Okay, but you don't. This is what people don't understand.
Really,
this is what people don't. Let me.
I'm sorry.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
On the 28th of April, we had a special call meeting. One of the items, and by the way, all board members were there. Okay? One of the items was the draft of the budget. And one of the items that was discussed, because I was there, and it was an open public hearing.
And nobody was there?
I remember Catherine Shepard showing up towards the end after what you're talking about. What I'm about to say had already been addressed.
The April thing.
The 28th of April, the budget was discussed. The first proposition from the administration to the board. And then the Madam Chair, Catherine Blue, made a remark and suggested that we should ask for $50. And then I piggyback behind, and this is open session, okay? And I say, hey, I agree with you, Madam Chair.
It's not one they videoed.
Blah, 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 blah. That's irrelevant.
I know.
It's not required by law.
I'd like
to
to go back and look at it.
Okay, blah, 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 and we're talking about this, and then everybody agreed. To my recollection, Miss Jessie Brown was slightly to my 11 o'clock on the opposite end of me. Okay? If my recollection serves me right, she also agreed. Because she didn't say no. Okay? So, for a board member to say about what you just said, it is not accurate because what about what the conversation that took place on the 28th of April? Okay, also, here's another thing. The statement that was made on Hope County, what's happening in Hope County, it seems like this is the first time I hear about it. No, sir. No, ma'am. That was not the first time.
Right.
Okay, another thing, okay? What people don't understand is that we are not approving, the board is not approving the budget. The school board is approving the budget to move forward to the county commission so the county commission can approve it.
So if they approve it, though, it's in.
No.
It's got to come back to y'all.
No. I know what the issue is because I read between the issue is that, oh my God, the board is asking for a stipend.
Oh, that's going to be the hot button topic.
Oh my God, $50. Well, listen, I have flash news for everybody. Okay, there is not enough money, which I don't get nothing. It's $300 some my stipend and $200 for transportation. I'm gonna tell you this right now. That's not enough money for me. But I didn't go there for the money, okay? Because y'all know I open up a bank account specifically for that money. That money is not touched on my regular basis. That money is touched to give people, especially the school like Hawkeye. I sponsor them to do things. Okay, so I'm kind of curious about this. Okay, how is it possible that you can tell a half a story but not tell the background? To say, because the way I read it is like, this is the first time. No.
Well, maybe in comments people have said I didn't say that.
You have to understand this. The rule, the law that governs the county commissioners does not govern the board. We have our own general statute. So I want to see where the law says that we violated the law. Now, I think that we almost violated procedure. But even though if we all agreed and we voted, those action items was not the first time for any board member. We had already all the action items except for the budget. We had already been given a brief on the previous month.
They were talking about it.
They were informational items. Okay, so then they became action items. And we were briefed on the budget on the 28th, and we recommended and did some modifications, okay?
And one was talked about a $50
And we
increase.
went from $50 to $100, okay? Now, if you want to say that you feel uncomfortable, I'm okay with that. But if you're in the meeting, why not speak there? Why not stay? Because I remember the first time, 6 months after, I think, after we got in, the 3 new board members, and it wasn't just us. It was not my idea. We wanted to get a stipend increase, okay? And
the big one.
It was done wrong. It was done wrong, and then the bonuses came in, and then the county commissioners just basically said, "We're not touching this right now," okay? Which it was good, but I remember one board member specifically voicing her concern, not after the board meeting. It was during the board meeting. So my point is that, if you stand on solid ground, state your business when we're conducting business.
All right,
Fight for your position.
So what about the public stuff? Is it not the same as the county that the school has to make it public?
We don't follow the same general statute. We do not follow the same general statute.
I'd like to find
and then okay, so I do admit, as an individual board member, there was a little confusion, and I was sort of confused myself. That's why I made the statement I made.
You made a statement.
I said, well, if we have a hard copy, why can't we upload a digital thing? Mm-hmm. And then I think one of the admin people, the finance officer, said, well, it's got to be approved before we can post it. And I'm thinking, I said, okay, well, maybe that's right. And then I forget who said, I want to say one of my colleagues says, well, let's table it. And then someone else came and said, well, if we table it, we're going to miss the deadline. And that's when I said, oh, no, we're not tabling this.
So that's the nuance.
We got to pass this because we're going to miss the deadline, and then we're really screwed.
Yeah, trying to get a late budget.
So hopefully, let's move it forward. Hopefully, someone from the management has either posted it or made a public statement that the budget is going to be viewable now that you've approved it.
The budget is, if you want a copy, go over to the school district and ask for a copy.
Right.
I mean, you don't. I can tell you right now, you don't even need. I don't think you even need a FOIA request for that.
Oh, I just asked
because there's nothing to look in there. There's no personal issues.
Right,
it's just a proposal. But two things. So if you're listening, you have to understand something. We are not approving the stipend for the board members. That's a different issue. It so happens that there is a letter, a resolution that's going to go forward with the budget to the county commissioners.
And
they have to vote on that separately, on that resolution.
I remember that.
Because that's what we did wrong the last time.
I remember that. I think you told me that the commissioners cannot vote into it as a lump sum with the
they
whole
cannot.
budget.
They have to
specifically
say a specific item that they have to vote on.
We're going to give the board members. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyways, lastly, just remember this, okay? While the board can approve things for the school internally, the board itself cannot approve things for board members, especially when it comes to money. That has to be done by the county commissioners.
Okay.
They're the only ones in the county that can approve themselves a raise.
And by law, they're the only ones that can do it.
Right. I'm not even going to get into the audit because we got other topics, but you need to go check out the video. Easy way to get to it. Go to What's Happening Hoke, and it was posted about 10 or 11 this morning. Go to the county school website, HokeCountySchools.com. Go to the YouTube channel, Hoke County Schools Personnel. Click live videos because it's kind of weird how you find them. But I put the link there. It's kind of easy to get to. I would recommend that the school just be in this environment that we're in. Just post it.
I do believe, I do want to say, because you did say something, I mean, it doesn't concern me, but in all fairness, I would, you know me, I will give credit where credit is due, and I will bring to light what needs to be brought to light, okay? I do believe that Madam Chair Catherine Blue just simply made a mistake. Because had she been persistent, she would not listen to the lawyer and say, no, this is what we're going to do. And then believe me, there would have been more than one board member to say, no, we're not doing that. We're going to, because it does happen. And just because it happened, the similar thing happened a year ago, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen again. You have to understand this. It is very hard to be in the public setting.
Oh yeah, recorded.
Being recorded
in the public.
You know, wondering. I'm always wondering, man. I wonder if they're watching me. You know, clean my nose. This is what I'm thinking. You know.
Yes.
And they have a better picture of the Madam Chair because of the position it's in. You can only see really my side.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is on the noise portion, I was intently listening. And I was watching the board member. I said, they're not making all that noise. It's coming from somewhere else in the room.
In the audience.
And it just makes it difficult to
hear.
hear.
With that said,
chime in.
Facebook has a whole bunch of drama, right? We all know that people get on there to agitate.
That's it.
Well, they live off of it.
That's it.
And to feed
That's
off
all
of
they do.
Feed off of the drama. So ideally, if you have a problem with something going on, address the officials. Go research the documents. Go research the video on your own and make your own determination before you jump on the bandwagon, right? And that's something that I try to do because there's
you do try to be informed.
There's
very
emotional responses, and everybody can succumb to that, right? But when something irritates me, I look at it and go, I don't think that's right. Let me go find what's
right.
Let me
or
find
what's
the facts.
rule.
And then I put that out there, and then I get griped at because your posts are too long and blah blah blah.
And then when they can't win, they say you're racist.
Well, that too, but the whole story takes a little more than two sentences.
But
of irritation.
In all fairness, you have to be given. You have to be able to give grace where there's that there is doubt. Okay, and I myself didn't see. I sort of raised an eyebrow when Madam Chair did that, but then somebody else had chimed in and said something, and before you know it, the board lawyer said something, and then it was corrected, and then it was like, okay, but she didn't. This is me. You don't have to always say, "Oh, I'm sorry because I made a mistake." We move on.
Oh yeah, you don't.
So I mean, just like I said, I haven't heard it, but listen to the conversation. I think some of the allegations is probably she was trying to slide the budget under.
Most
the rug
likely,
that's what people are thinking.
I have.
What are the facts?
Because the stipend was in it.
Right.
You know what? I've always said this. If you think you can do a better job,
run for office.
Election is coming up again.
Yep.
By all means, if you think this job is rewarding, by all means, get into the fight. I want you to get into the fight, okay?
Oh,
because we can always make the district better. Because I'm gonna tell you this one now, as an individual board member, the school district, we need help. We're a low income county, and when the county commissioners cannot have a lot of money, i.e. raise taxes, the school district suffers.
Or raise local funding, which is one of the lowest in the state, if not the lowest. I have a theory on that. Anyway, we're going to go rapid fire because we're over time.
So I want to
do your thing.
We're talking about communication. So I don't know if you guys saw the Ask Jesse columns in the newspaper this week, but somebody who titled themselves Big Republican said, "Hey,
Big Republican."
I suspect that's not a real Republican.
I don't think so.
I wonder if they'll be here tonight. I'm going to ask them.
This is
I'm going to say, anybody here tonight, Big Republican.
The big Republican. But look, I just want to make this clear to the audience. Anybody that read that, That is not the position of the Hope County Republican Party leadership. We advocate for free exchange of ideas, conversations, communication. I would never say discriminate or ban anybody from posting their opinions. I mean, that's what it is. It's an opinion. If you don't like it, do what I do, and I've done it numerous times. Write a letter to the editor to rebut it, and don't put your name as Big Republican.
Yeah, Richie,
sign who you are.
Sign your real name, baby.
I mean, a lot is said to me about a character. Assuming that this big Republican, I haven't seen this, but let's just assume that this big Republican, I can think the big Republican, the guy, if this individual exists, one or two things is a fact. Very tall or extremely obese. Okay, because I would take an insult. I would take an insult if somebody called me Big C. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not very tall. Two, I'm not very big. I'm not very wide. So to me, I find it very suspicious. And I always said
like I said, I read it and I was like, that goes totally against Republican values in general. But me personally, as the leader of the Republican Party in the county, there is no way that I would ever call to bar anybody from speaking and publishing their opinion. That's just something that. I mean, and like I said, if you have a gripe about it, rebut it under your own name, under your real name.
It's just.
I see it. I see what it was about.
It's amazing to me. Big. What is it again?
Big Republican.
Big Republican.
Yeah, Ron Huff. the Frog Holler column that he does.
I mean,
there's some of the things.
Stop publishing Frog Holler. This is in the News Journal. Get credit there. I want to stop. This is from Big Republican. I want you to stop publishing the column Frog Holler Philosopher by Ron Huff. No one wants to read this Democrat drivel. He must have some financial interest in this paper for you to keep running his opinion every week. Are you being paid, and will you stop putting this in the newspaper, Big Republican? First of all, of course, there was response.
None of those people are
Jessica.
paid to publish that kind of
all
stuff.
Right.
Anyway.
There has been I worked there 14, 15 years. I always get the dates wrong. There has always been a column like that in our newspaper. And typically it's coming from someone of like the left-leaning side. Just to be honest, it's true. I mean,
I don't disagree with you.
I was there. I know it's left. And we would get complaints all the time. Why don't you have a conservative viewpoint published in there and maybe rotate it every other week? Instead of every week getting the same point of view from the same old guy whose brother is
I don't know what
building
they decide.
houses.
I don't know what they decide, but that is an editorial decision as well as can you find somebody that will dedicate the time?
It's a lot
to write a column every week.
It is.
I don't have the time for
it's
it.
a lot.
I mean, I have a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, but
I don't know.
I have to sit down and write an article about it.
Look,
our Hope County edition North Journal. You
wouldn't see that. You would not. They got to have a name.
And so I don't. Obviously, I would never tell anybody how to operate their business. But if you're a news journal, you should be a news journal. That's the way I look. Like I've always said, if I want to watch sports, I don't want politics. This is why I stopped watching sports, because politics got in there.
Got dirty.
This writer is the one that brought it in there, as far as.
Yeah, but who allowed it to be in it? In the newspaper?
Yeah, all that had to be approved to be in there.
Yeah, I mean the guy didn't force himself in there.
There's no way around that. So, anyway, all right, moving on. Rapid fire. How's your stock market?
This is what I got to say about the stock market. Okay, how about them eggs?
Hey.
And
your gas.
I'm paying $43 to top my truck off,
and it used to be.
Just in December of last year, I was paying $73.
I thought it was 88.
70 on a really empty, it was 79. I mean, he's got a EV monster vehicle, so he's probably like $100 some for
Not
diesel.
anymore. So I found a place out on Bragg Boulevard, but the Circle K just opened up by the Amazon place.
The 7-Eleven.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
I'm not a brand name guy,
Yeah.
but anyway, it's $2.93 for a gallon of diesel. And then the Murphy's over here by Two Bales is $2.98 or something, $2.99.
What's the one down in Rayford?
Like $3.40.
304 or something?
No, $3.40.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I'm
Have you
talking
noticed that the prices? One time I did a whole story where I rode the whole county and wrote down the prices and took pictures of it. There's such a big difference just in Hope
Talking
County.
about gas stations in Hope County. We'll do a whole new
It's
episode.
on the list.
We'll do a whole new episode on that.
All right, it's on the list. So Trump, China, stock market, drug prices, and all I got to say is the Middle East, baby. The man is raking it in over there right now. I guess he's on his way home. But
He's in UAE today.
yes,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, do you see how they're laying it on for this guy? They would never do that for Sleepy Joe.
Well,
Ever.
he wouldn't be going over there.
Well,
'cause-
number one, he wouldn't be going.
All right, hey, I just want to make a real quick announcement. I know that you've probably seen it, but there's a thing called Accountability and Transparency Town Hall this weekend.
What?
On Saturday. All the invitations have gone out to all of our local officials, congressmen, state representatives, and probably the county commissioners. But basically what it is Saturday, May 17th from 4 to 6 over at the Rayford Civic Center, 200 College Drive. There's going to be basically a rural voices town hall with all the politicians. One thing that I did find kind of discerning or questionable is if you look at all the sponsors, they're all Democrat aligned, but in their,
Is it
their
new?
well, in their narrative, they talk about this is bipartisan, blah, blah, blah.
They
blah.
always say that.
I'm like, well, if it was bipartisan, why didn't I get a call to help sponsor?
Right.
But,
New rural
it is what it
project,
is.
are
I
they
will
in
be
it?
there. I'm going to hear what they got to say.
Is
You can-
new rural project part of it?
It is. Common Cause. Yeah.
Well, I tried Common Cause one time going to one of the events, and I was told that
Yeah.
It was not for you or
it
something?
was not for me.
That's
What was
right.
the one we went down to Rager?
It
That was
the-
Common Cause.
Yeah, it
wasn't
was. It was
Yeah.
called.
And-
It was
Nonpartisan.
red wine and
Oh,
blue.
yeah, another
Oh,
one.
they're-
Are they on this
they're a
one?
sponsor
Red
of that.
wine
They're the
and
same.
blue.
They're the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's a leftist thing that's talking about the rural community.
Wagram. We had fun down there.
Yeah.
You can you can do some stuff. You can do some stuff in
Well,
Wagram,
I
from
mean,
what I heard.
it's just standing up and taking a position
That's it.
and spouting fact
Yeah.
over hyperbole and
But
just
you know what?
misinformation.
To their defense, when we went there, we were treated very
We were.
well.
We were.
Everybody
Oh.
was very cordial.
They were.
Unlike the stuff we see in the media where Republicans are being
yelling and-
assaulted and stuff,
Yeah.
they were very cordial. And it probably has to do with the fact that they're from North Carolina.
Where the man where the man that serves Ben and Jerry's ice cream at 1,100 calories is fussing at JFK for wanting to cut the calories and help kids lose a little weight.
RFK, yeah.
RFK, JFK.
But anyway, so go to just Google Common Cause events, and there's a link there to RSVP. You can also sign up to speak if you want to. I think you're giving everybody 2 minutes, whoever wants to speak. So go ahead and sign up. I think it's going to be a good time. You know, like I said, I always listen to perspectives. I like hearing both sides of the situation, and maybe have a little bit of opportunity to talk about it. You know, that's what it's all about.
All right, real fast. Board of Elections, is that over? Is it done?
Yes.
Okay,
As
our
far-
local board,
well-
or is that June?
Yes, July 1st they'll get sworn in.
Okay.
The nominees have been done.
Okay, so the elections boards are changing over. I got to mention Hoke Fest, May 30th through June 9th or June 8th. And our Vets for Vets, the veterans group that we started, is going to be in the park. I won't be there, but John Harry will be there, and other folks, May 24th from 10 to 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Saturday.
That's a Saturday. It's on Memorial Day weekend. And then the Memorial Day ceremony this year is being run by the VFW. So Monday, May 26th at 11 a.m., Hope County
Courthouse
Memorial
lawn.
Day ceremony. Say again?
Courthouse lawn.
Courthouse lawn. Yeah, I messed that up. And Ruben, you got anything to
You
report
said
on?
what's on May the 30th with the big event? You said something's
30th?
on May the 30th.
May 26th.
May 30th is Hoke Fest, first day of Hoke Fest.
Okay, well, also May 30, high school Hope County High
Yes,
School,
same night.
the Bucks are graduating also.
So we're going to
I
have
think
a
it's
big
May-
party.
I think it's May 29th, Thursday, is when Hope Fest starts.
No, it's May
on-
30th. Coupons over there.
All right. Well,
It's May 30th.
Again, Hope County High School graduation, and it's May the 30th. May the 16th, which is tomorrow, Sandhope Early College is graduating.
Yep. So
Congratulations.
we only missed a few items, so that's pretty good. All right. We want to thank our sponsors, Rayford Guns. I just got a text a while ago from Rob. It says Facebook and website are up. So go to you can also go to the website, rayfordguns.com, rayfordguns.com. We also want to thank the Hope County edition of the North State Journal and Christian 105.7 FM, your 24/7 source for hope and inspiration. They are also helping with Hope Fest this year. Check out our Facebook page, Roundtable Talk Podcast. For Hal Nunn,
Ruben Castlo.
and Chris Holland.
we'll see y'all next time.